What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of Odd Future's MC Tyler, the Creator's third studio album. This is the follow-up to 2013's Wolf, and it's titled Cherry Bomb. Tyler, the Creator, is known for his abrasive attitude, attempting to kind of push buttons and kind of hit some sort of, wow, I can't believe he just did that or said that factor. It's a gimmick that hasn't really bothered me, but it also has not won me over to really liking the majority of his previous two records. Cherry Bomb is definitely changing that, though. Wolf is the first full-length I heard from Tyler, and while there were a few praiseworthy standout cuts, I still can't say that I was really into the man's style. After hearing Deathcamp and Fucking Young, the two songs that were released preceding Cherry Bomb, I knew that something was in the water, something was changing, and it's a good change. Throughout Cherry Bomb, there are still some very Tyler moments, some very bombastic choices that he makes here on this record. He likes to use the word faggot, and I quote, because it hits and hurts people. And not that I agree with that, but it is his personal thing, and he's opened up about that multiple times. I don't think that he is homophobic. Take it with a grain of salt, because I really don't think that he means anything too negative by it. It's just like calling someone an idiot or a jerk. I guess there's power behind words, and he intends it in a certain way. I will say that there are significantly fewer uses of the word bitch all over Goblin, that debut album. Wow, he would just throw it out there. And I feel like he's toned it down a bit and gone for not a mainstream approach by any means, but at the same time, he's going for a more mature vibe on a lot of these tracks. Now, like I said, there are still plenty of Tyler-type moments here on this record. Blow My Load gets pretty descriptive of a sexual encounter he had, and of course, the Brownstains of Darkeese Latifah sounds downright nasty, but damn it, I just don't find it that off-putting at all. In fact, the Brownstains, which features West Coast rapper Schoolboy Q, is one of the more hard-hitting tracks on this LP, with the two MCs kind of trading verses back and forth. I thought that sounded really good, and of course featuring some of Tyler's most aggressive raps and flows on the entire record. Deathcamp was one of the two previews that we got of Cherry Bomb, and I have to say that it might just be the best song on the album. It opens up with this noisy guitar riff that sounds off all throughout the track, really making me wish that more rappers would implement that into their sound, maybe rap over some guitar-styled beats. Deathcamp sees Tyler dealing with life in the spotlight, seeming unapologetic for simply living his life, and it's not really his fault for being followed around by the paparazzi all the time, provoking him, trying to stir up controversy and drama. It's really an enthralling listen, not only with the hard-hitting instrumental, but also with the way Tyler spits on the track. Really interesting flow, probably my favorite track from the Odd Future MC at this point in his career. Don't expect all of the instrumentals to fall into similar territory though. Tyler kind of went in all different sonic directions here with this one, opting to produce all of this album by himself, which I kind of see as being a trend among the Odd Future members. Earl Sweatshirt produced the majority of the album that he dropped a few weeks ago, actually, himself. From rocking guitars to crunching synthesizers to soulful brass, it's really just an eclectic collection of sounds. It does get frustrating occasionally whenever Tyler throws us from a more soulful, mostly instrumental jam like Find Your Wings, which was very beautiful, honestly, to listen to. I really liked the female vocals that were added to that track. He throws us from that into the more menacing and chaotic title track, Cherry Bomb. But here's the thing though, while I might not be a fan of the transitions there, it doesn't really kill the vibe for me. It's the mixing that tends to get in the way from time to time. Tyler's voice can slip in and out of focus with a loud sample or instrumental sticking out like me in a flock of sheep. It's really easy to spot. The end of this record really starts to test my patience. Kanye throws out a really weak verse on the track, upstaged by Lil Wayne and of course Tyler himself. His flow on this one, Tyler's that is, on Smuckers, is really smooth and confident, so I'm definitely digging his vibe here on this one. The trade-offs that he's doing with Wayne, the back and forth there, it's just like Ye was kind of like a sore on the track that I just kind of need to pick off and throw away. Then we get to Keep the O's and Okaga, California, the final two moments of the LP, and we're really just dragging at this point. Keep the O's is another prime example of when the focus goes in and out, making me feel like I've got ADHD or something as Tyler's vocals float in and out of tune, kind of off-key. Pharrell Williams has additional vocals on this track, and I'm not really a fan of those either. I'd have to say the highlight of this track, though, is whenever the female vocals towards the end of the song kind of float back into the spotlight and recall Find Your Wings, kind of recalling the lyrical content from that one almost like a reprise, kind of wrapping up the tune, so I thought that was a nice finish, but for the most part, definitely not really a fan of that track. And then of course on Okaga, California, the closing track, we get a mostly instrumental, kind of wandering track that really just does not do a thing for me. It could have gone out on anything else and it would have been a lot more memorable. Back on the positive side of the fence though, we have the 6-minute 2-seater and of course the single Fucking Young / Perfect, which are both tunes that are split up into 2 different sections. 2-seater's transition is flawless. I really think that's the best part of the song in my opinion. It kind of switches into Tyler talking with this girl in his car and just going right into the second beat of the track without missing a beat. Fucking Young sees Tyler fighting off temptation from an underage girl that's perfect for him, but she's too young. She's 17 and he was 23 at the time. That's jailbait right there. She's still a minor. He's shaken up over this whole ordeal, running away from the problem at first before finally confronting her and saying, hey, look, find someone else. You're too young for me. This isn't gonna work. He talks about not wanting to become another statistic, and I think this girl is of a different skin color than him. He talks about the pigments of their skin, so I'm assuming he's like, hey, this is trouble. I know it. I have to, for the sake of everything, just run away from the situation. One more year, Tyler. She's almost there. Then she's all yours. Buffalo sees Tyler trying to deal with adult responsibilities, featuring an interlude from Shane Powers telling T not to fuck things up, don't mess this up, and to make himself kind of presentable to the mainstream. All I can think about during that interlude though, because the voice, it sounds like Coach Hines from the Mad TV sketch back in like the mid 2000s. Does anyone else, no one else hearing that? Really? Just me? I really like the harsh and almost sci-fi leaning synthesizers that pop up on the track Pilot. I feel like some people are definitely going to complain about the mixing here, not only on this track, but of course on Buffalo as well, because Tyler's vocals get buried a little bit. It works for me though. It's not a complaint here. I like that it gets noisy. It reminds me of Death Grips from what I've heard of them, and a lot of people are saying that Tyler drew influence from Death Grips whenever he worked on some of this album's tracks. So I can definitely hear that, and not to say that I am a Death Grips fan, because that would not be true. It's just not my cup of tea. But I think that Tyler's flow kind of matches the intensity of the instrumental. So I don't know, it works on Buffalo and of course on the track that follows right after that, Pilot, for me personally. Brownstains gets pretty explosive with its sound too, shouting out the likes of Ringo and Jared Leto and his band 30 Seconds to Mars, which I could not help but chuckle at. Some of the wordplay on the track is actually pretty clever though, especially the line, and you can get your ass beat like a kick and a snare. Whoa! This album may be somewhat inconsistent, but at the same time, I'm finding a good chunk of it pretty solid and entertaining. It might wander off, but it always kind of manages to reel things back in, except in those last few tracks that I mentioned that I wasn't really digging. But overall, it's a pretty enjoyable project. There are a lot of different sounds here. I feel like some of it, in the soulful parts that is, it feels like it draws influence from the new Kendrick Lamar project, although that's probably not possible considering this album was probably finished by the time that To Pimp a Butterfly came out. I'm hearing that, I'm hearing some rocking tunes, I'm hearing some more synth-driven tunes. It's just really an eclectic listen, like I mentioned, so there are going to be some tracks you probably like, some you probably hate, but you might love the whole thing. Who knows? Give it a try, let me know what you think in the comments. For me, Cherry Bomb is a 3.5. I hope you enjoyed my review of Tyler, the Creator's third studio album, Cherry Bomb. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments section down below, and don't forget to smash the like button while you're at it. Subscribe to the channel because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. Thanks for watching, and if there are any albums that I have not covered yet that you would like to see me talk about, let me know about them in the comments section down below. I have something very special on the way for you guys next week. I hope you're excited. It's a collaboration. So yeah, expect that right here on either this channel or maybe on Beyond ARTV, the second channel as well. I'll see you guys very soon.